And then right knowledge stimulates right doing again, and right doing again gives you right knowledge. So there are two schools of thought. Those who want us to start with doing, they teach us what is called karma yoga. That is, begin to do something good. You will automatically know how to do it better. And the other school who ask us to start from the other end, they call their path Jnana Yoga. You will find a discourse on these two in the Bhagavad Gita and also many sacred texts of the world. So, which is the starting point? Both seem to be correct. Which way to begin? In the Bhagavad Gita, he says, come on, here is a straight line. There are 2 points. Which one we will call A and which one B? Is it correct to mark this A and this B, or call this A and this B? Examine the question. It immediately proves that the one who questions is childish, an immature brain, foolish, because it means the same. What is required is you are expected to draw the line in whichever way you begin. Some people begin here and draw like this. Some people begin here and draw like this. It is the same. It serves the same purpose. That means starting here and going into the work is one correct way. Starting here and going into understanding is another correct way. But if you don't want to be a sick brain, and if you don't want to belong to the 20%, what you have to do is begin somewhere and go to the next, instead of speculating as to which way you have to begin. Those who speculate about the beginning, they are the only useless group of people in the world. Those who begin somewhere, they are really useful either to themselves or to others. But if you want to be successful, start with the third point. That is what the Bhagavad Gita says. So, I should make an offering and then start somewhere. Offering never means some money. All right, shall I offer my apartment for you to start the university? No, you can do it, but it is not what is intended here. Or shall I offer some material? That is 100 tables and 200 chairs. Take it. Do it, my dear brother, but it is not what is intended of you. What is intended here is the source, but not the resources. There is a lot of difference. Money is a resource. An apartment is a resource. Tables and chairs, resource. But who has given these things is the source. The fellow is required, not his belongings. That is what is demanded of in spiritualism. You are wanted, not what you have. Can you offer yourself? Can you throw yourself into the work without going back any day before you die? Can you leave off the idea of having some benefit by what you do? Because if you have some idea of some benefit, what you do is flowing back into your benefit, and there is no triangle. Only if you push forth, there is the triangle. When you have the mentality of flowing back something, it is pure business and commerce and not spiritualism. So it is the attitude that counts, but not the material or money or the magnitude of things that counts. As long as we have the question how this work is useful to us, then we are disqualified to do something really good. Immediately we begin to declare from our attitude that I am not the person required, here I am not the person required. We may not accept it in our brain or on our tongue, but night and day we accept with all our heart that we are not the persons required. That is the real meaning of the word offering. That is, you have to make an entry of no return. As long as you have some hopes of returning to your so-called motherland or native land which is away from your work, that means your motherland is different from your work land. Then the field of your work can be called stepmotherland. This is the secret. If you have an idea of consequences, you are not qualified. If you have got an idea of only the sequence and not the consequence, then it is called offering of oneself. Then the work becomes what is called devotion. Otherwise, it is only emotion which is bound to stop someday. This is one triangle that is described in the scriptures. When you have a spirit of devotion, a spirit of offering, when you have no idea of returning back to something else, and when you are sure that you are not valuable than what you do, then the value enters into you, and it is called self-offering. The moment this attitude begins to shine as a spark through you, immediately either you make a beginning here and go here, or you make a beginning here and go to the other side. You may start with Karma Yoga and have perfection in Jnana Yoga, or you may start with Jnana Yoga and have perfection in Karma Yoga. If this is not yet started to shine forth, as long as we are having only the physical heart which pumps the blood out, and the vital heart which produces the temperature of the body, and the emotional heart which gives us a false spur every time to try to do something, that is an untimely excitement to do everything. And when the real heart of love or devotion is not started shining forth, the triangle can never be constructed. So it is very important and very pious to have this triangle also in our mind. And we will go to the next triangle described in all the scriptures. Particular stress is given in ancient Indian scripture. A more important triangle, which I call it in English socio-economic triangle. Every scripture in India describes this triangle, discusses about it, and gives us the most valuable lesson. Observe the following aspects. Work remuneration and requirement. Just bestow a thought upon this triangle. The work we have to do, let it be a business or an employment or a craftsmanship or labor, whatever it may be, it should be legitimate work. You can ask me, what do you mean by legitimate work? A pickpocket picks the pocket in a very beautiful way, and he says, I am busy with my work, and ask you if this triangle applies to him. It never applies to him. It should be legitimate work. That is, willing to do something to others as the first step, and receiving something as the second step. That is what is called legitimate work. The pickpocket has the receiving aspect as the first step, and then he thinks, if at all I get a good purse of 10,000 Swiss francs, then I can do many good things to my friend. So the second aspect, the utility is made the second aspect. What he wanted to do to his friends or the society or the poor people or his own family members takes the second position. Before that, he wants to receive something. That's the first position. So it is the attitude that makes the difference. Whether one picks a pocket physically or not, if at all he considers his remuneration as the first step and his duty towards others as the second step, he is undoubtedly a pickpocket and nothing else. And whatever profession he belongs to, however much noble the nature of the work he does, he is a pickpocket. No doubt about it. This is what makes the difference. So, now let us consider work in this order. That is, work first and then remuneration. Automatically, we get our remuneration by way of wages or salaries, or the profits in business, or the interest for the money we lend to others. And then with this, we are expected to have our personal requirements. What are the personal requirements? There is a little triangle of personal requirement. If you say, call this A, B, C, from the C you have D, E, there is another triangle. A daughter triangle of the previous triangle at the end of C, that is food, clothing and housing, fundamentals of fundamental requirements. So from the remuneration we get, we are expected to construct the daughter triangle. Just think of this triangle and consider where to begin and where to end. It makes all the difference. The scriptures teaches that if you start the triangle at a particular end, the society around you will grow more and more wealthy, more peaceful, more fearless, more confident of the goodness of others, and in course of time You are placed in such a society because of your behavior. That is, the more fearless the society is around you, the more magnanimous the persons around you, the safer you are in your life. And when such people grow in number, they begin to produce such a society through their network. And the result is peace. There is no question of holding conferences for peace. There is no question of holding a day, an year, or a month for peace. We should stimulate the society in such a way that we are the cause of a peaceful society, at least 3 persons around us. Then we belong to a real esoteric society of peace. Until then, there is no use of many exotic societies working for peace night and day. Only much mailing and paperwork will be going on. More and more speedy thinking of peace. That is, much criminal wastage of human energy. So, we should start from another end. If you start from one end and proceed to the second and the third ends of the triangle, the result is peace. When you have peaceful society worked out around you, and when they begin to work out, peaceful society of 30, at least 3 people around each of them, then there are 9 people excluding the first set of 3. And if each of the 9 begin to follow the same procedure, automatically you will have a country and a nation which is exactly similar to that of Switzerland. That is, having the good name and nobility of not having war for so many decades or centuries. Not having the bad name of posting policemen and military fellows around buildings of peace and deceiving ourselves that we are working for the cause of peace. Just here is a modus operandi. It all depends upon where we start in our own daily work. Conversely, if you start at the wrong end of this triangle and proceed in the wrong way to the 2 other points, you will produce discomfort, suspicion, jealousy, and the most evil thing on the face of earth called competition, and then war. You will find in your own office every set of 3 people fighting one another. Triangles of fight. So, it all depends upon where you start on this triangle. It is enough if we make a right start of our personal work in our office in this triangle. And it is not necessary to speak much philosophy or spiritualism or yoga or about secret doctrine or Alice A. Bailey's works too much, or talking of the 7 rays too much unnecessarily, discussing like fools to which ray I belong and to which ray you belong. What does it matter to which ray which fool belongs? I see people fighting like cocks about the race of their own activity. My soul ray is second ray. The ray of my mind, my mental ray is fourth ray. My physical ray is third ray. Like this, people discussing night and day and spending time in useless discussion. Excuse me if I am a bit blunt and rough, but it is inevitable with the Eastern fellows. When the Eastern fellow wants to express something, he is blunt. And no need of speaking much of the Buddhic plane and the para-nirvanic and all these planes. No necessity of deceiving ourselves in thinking that we are on the higher mental plane. The fact is, we are in the physical body, touching the physical earth with our physical feet. We can never deny it. We have our etheric bodies too dense with individuality, and our astral bodies and kama sariras full of very strong likes and dislikes. Can we stop discussing about others and commenting about others in their absence? That one aspect is enough. Let us test ourselves, not others. Then the purification begins. So, all these things are not necessary. Let us make a beginning from the point where we stand. Everyone stands in his own level of understanding and evolution. No level is bad and no level is good in nature. All levels are there for us as the ladder to climb up. Like the steps of a staircase from the ground floor to the first and the second floors. If anyone thinks that the first step is lower than the second step, therefore the second step is a better step than the first step, he must be a fool. So, we belong to all these 7 levels of existence. All the levels are bestowed by nature, and hence they are sacred. And let us make a start from where we stand. And just it is enough to know where to begin our work. Automatically our environment will be worked out properly. We stop rubbing others on the wrong side. In trying to do so, we purify ourselves day by day. And now I will give you the procedure given by the scriptures. If you make this as the first step, that is, join some job in the office, or start some business, or learn some craft and begin to earn in the society, begin to work, get your return or remuneration, and purchase what you want. The triangle stops. What happens when we do like this? The result is what we experience in the 20th century. Not in one country or one nation, but in every country and every nation we see the consequences. Instead of leading an international life, we are proving to be international bacteria, each nation trying to eat the other. We have already proved human virus dangerous to mankind. This is the result of this procedure. Because we are interested in the second aspect more than the first. Because we are interested in the third aspect more than the second. It is no more our fault to misbehave when once we have started this procedure. I will try to put forth the minimum to the society. I will conduct all researches to extract my maximum from the society. I will measure my quantum of intelligence by the maximum advantage I take from the society. I will measure my education by the amount I get, by putting forth minimum labor and getting maximum remuneration. And when once this has become possible, we care more for money than for wealth. If you ask me, do you want a glass of water or 100 Swiss francs? Automatically my reply is 100 Swiss francs, because I have already fooled myself. We cannot understand the falseness of this logic. If I have 100 Swiss francs from each of you, by just doing something which attracts you, and have about 50,000 Swiss francs in my pocket, and go in a car through a desert where no water is available, when in my car the water in the bottle is exhausted, then compare. This thing will never save my life. But still we are not human enough to care for our own logic. And then we get easy money than wealth. So when we have grown foolish enough to care more for money than for wealth, we lose our head as much as we can in the 20th century. This is the height of human history. The human fellow did not lose his head as much as he lost in this century. And when I have easy money, when I do not know the value of wealth, the method in which I use the money differs from normal to the abnormal way. This little triangle or daughter triangle no more includes food, garment and shelter, but it includes more tasty food and more costly garments and more sophisticated house. And we don't accept that we are illogical. And when we try to extract the maximum and spend it for more costly food and drink, more costly than valuable,